Wow, that was mean. Facebook was not letting me stream from Zoom, which is very bizarre because usually I stream directly from Zoom. Not that it matters for anyone here. Um, I have no idea what's going on with technology right now. What a pain in my ass. There we go. Right, we are live. Hopefully, this isn't going to distract me because usually I don't use this. I don't go directly on Facebook. I stream from Zoom. So, for one, Zoom actually has a filter on it. So I feel like I can see every pore and imperfection and everything, but oh well, and my greasy ass hair. Jesus Christ, Bianca, get your shit together. How are we, my lovelies? The funny things always happen. My treadmill literally just sped itself up without me talking to it or touching it, and my Facebook's not working. So there we go. We are live. So today, I don't know why I'm shouting. So today I really wanted to help you guys train your brain so you can stop sabotaging and ultimately get out of your own way. Now, I see sabotaging come up all the goddamn time. I see it all the time. I see it with my clients, past clients, future clients, group members. I see it with everyone. I see it with friends, family members, and even, like I said, past clients who have battled and dealt with self-sabotage. It does come up again. It even comes up again for me. So the first thing that I wanted to really hone in for you guys is just know that it's common. It's normal. Self-sabotage is needed, but it is also solvable. Okay? This is such a vital coping mechanism that we have in place. It is ingrained in our human instincts, in our behaviors. Oh my God, I've just noticed my eyebrow as well. Jesus Christ. Can't even do my makeup. Now you're all going to just be looking at my eyebrow now I've mentioned it, aren't you? I think it's just the light, to be honest with you. I don't know. Either way, oh, I feel like I look like a right mess today. Either way, self-sabotage is perfectly normal, and without it, you would probably be a really shitty human being because you probably wouldn't be doing any of the things that you need to, and life would be extremely difficult because you probably wouldn't be choosing the right things. You'd be using up a lot of energy, and I'll tell you why. So, first of all, do you ever think, if I would just do the stuff I tell myself I would do, I could do it? If I just bloody went and did that thing that I said that I would do, I could lose weight. Maybe you're saying, I don't understand. Why do I always mess it up? I don't understand. Why am I always screwing it up? Why am I always getting in my way? This often means that there's something going on underneath that you don't really know about. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go into my coaching programs here, but I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and she said, Bianca, I've tried everything. I've paid for everything. I don't want to just do something else because I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know what's going on, but I notice it's always me. I'm always getting in the way. Yes, this is self-sabotage. And the difference between most other programs and the program that I run my clients through, or the foundations of the program that I run my clients through, it is designed to dip into self-sabotage. We have self-sabotage specific sessions because everyone has a self-sabotaging technique. The thing is we often don't actually know why or what. We don't know why it's happening, and we don't know what it specifically is. Is it fear-based? Is it fear of success, fear of failure? Is it fear of the person that you're going to become? We don't know until we dive into it. So that's one thing that I really like to pride my program on, is we really dive deep underneath into the brain and figure out exactly what's going on. Because without this, you can just lose weight, take any generic advice, but you're not going to get anywhere if you don't address the underlying issues that are stopping you from making progress. You probably lose a few pounds here and there, but if you don't address the underlying self-sabotaging issues, they are not going to change or move out of the way just because you've started a new diet or because you're on a different amount of calories. That's not going to shift. So we really need to address this. So today I really, really wanted to touch really lightly. The problem with self-sabotage is it's such a deep and personal issue for every single person. I can only give you like the generic themes. I can only give you a certain amount of information and what to do with it. That's why I want you to stick around, because at the end of this session, I'm going to give you something that is free and valuable to use. So stick around to the end. I need to explain a few things first. If you're here, I want you to just say hi. Just give me a little wave, give me a little thumbs up. If you're watching on replay, give me a little thumbs up so we know that you're here. I don't actually know who or if anyone is watching, so I'd love you to join in and just give me a little wave. Now, you have two parts to your brain. You might have heard me say this before, you might not have. There are of course, we know that there are multiple parts of the brain. I don't know how many exactly, 5 to 8. But for this purpose, we're going to talk about the two parts of the brain. So you've got your conscious brain and your unconscious brain. Now, the thing that we want to talk about and focus in on is your unconscious part of the brain. What these two are going to do is it is going to rely on using the least amount of energy. So if you believe something, you'll notice and search out the things to confirm that this is true, because your brain wants to always be right. I just completely went on a sidetrack then. Oh my God, I was just hit by a truck. There were two different things that I was talking about. So you have the conscious and unconscious brain. The unconscious brain is linked to your habit part of the brain. Okay, so what this is, ignore what I just said, Jesus Christ. What I'm talking about is the habit part of the brain is the laziest part of the brain, right? What happens is you create this connection with something. So maybe it is waking up and brushing your teeth. Maybe it is just before you head out the door, you tie your shoelaces. Maybe when you get home from work, you start reading the cupboards. Whatever it is, there is a connection that is made. And we do this a few times, or we hear about it, and it solidifies as a habit in our brain. Now what's happened is we have created this habit, this unconscious driving force, this habit, and your brain loves to thrive off of habits. And so what it does is it uses the least amount of energy possible because it likes to do the same things that we already know works. So for example, we know that brushing our teeth before we walk out the door works for us. Nice and fresh, feels good. We know that coming home and having a snack is the first thing that we know that helps us to unwind or de-stress, de-stress. Now what's happening there is your habit brain is saying, aha, I've done this before, I know what works. So we will automatically do that thing. Now your conscious brain requires a lot of energy and our brains are really freaking lazy. So anytime you need to make a new decision, a new habit, change something up. For example, today I'm on a diet. Yesterday I wasn't, but today is Monday, so I've started a new diet. Now, when I come home from work, I'm going to do something else. Think about just think about a habit that you do and think about putting something else in place. I want you to notice just how quickly you'll come to that, kind of feeling. That is that exertion of energy. Your brain is already going, oh my God, but this works already. Why do we have to start rewiring our brain, introducing something different? Look, this works. We know this works. Let's do this. So as soon as you start thinking about other ways to do things, including changing your diet, including exercising more, whatever it is, your brain's going to be like, nah, I don't want to do that. And so when we have to use our conscious brain, the thinking brain, it requires a lot of energy. So as I said, we like to use that habit brain. Now, it's perfectly normal to have this. Like I said, everyone needs this part of the brain to reduce the amount of energy that we use. Now, as I mentioned earlier by mistake, I want you to think that if you believe something, you'll notice and search out things to confirm this is true. So what I mean by this is, for example, your unconscious and habit part of your brain is like it stores energy, it stores thoughts and behaviors and habits and beliefs, right? And a belief might be something like, I can't lose weight. So what happens now is your habit or unconscious brain switches in and it says, I know that I can't lose weight. You know what? I've struggled before. I just know. It's just what it is. I just know it, right? And then so what happens is you end up searching and noticing things that confirm this is true. So what I mean by that is I want to take the example of a yellow car. You've probably not thought about a yellow car before. Maybe if you have a yellow car, you're probably going to think, this is what happened when I got a yellow car. I'm going to talk about a yellow car right now. And tomorrow you're probably going to go out and notice a yellow car. And then you'll notice the next yellow car. Now, what's happened is I have created that awareness. And now your brain is now looking out for that piece of information. It is always searching for things to be true. So, for example, if you come home and say, I can't lose weight no matter how hard I try, maybe you get to a little bit of a hurdle, something that's new. Your unconscious and habit brain is like, okay, you know what? I've dealt with this with food before. This is a negative emotion. I want to feed myself and make myself feel happy. You then go and eat something, or you start thinking about the food, and then you're like, see, I can't fucking lose weight. See, this is true. I knew that I couldn't lose weight. So not only does your unconscious and habit brain, part of your brain, drive the actions and behaviors, it also drives the beliefs, things that we know that are true or think that they are true. And so if you think that you can't lose weight, if you think that you can't do this, you're going to find and sort out ways that confirms this, because the brain likes to be right. But the thing is you owe it to yourself to, instead of thinking, oh, this is going on again, oh, I can't lose weight again, and start thinking, okay, this is slightly different. Maybe this is a different person, a different system. It's a different time of your life. Guarantee you, if you started to lose weight tomorrow, it's a totally different time of your life than last week, because you would have listened to this video. Every single time is a different time, but we always think that it's the same. It's not the same. You are a different version of you today than you were yesterday. You have different thoughts and beliefs. You have processed different information throughout the last 24 hours. You are never the same person. Sorry to say that, but you're never the same person. So maybe you can think, oh, okay, this is different. How would this version of me be acting? How would this version of me be acting? What would be different? Right? Instead of thinking, oh, this is it. Oh, here we go. Probably going to fail again. I want you to start thinking, okay, if this is different, how would the best version of me, let's say best version, how would the best version of me be acting? What would be different? We get stuck in self-sabotage patterns and loops. Sometimes we think, I must be hopeless. I must be the only one who cannot ever lose weight, instead of turning to actually doing something. What happens is we get caught just rolling around in our own shit. Rather than not believing in yourself, think about the possibilities of what would happen if you did believe in yourself. We are starting to tap into the conscious brain by just changing the way that we believe, changing our thoughts about our beliefs. If you're able to just take that switch and just start questioning, your own beliefs, your own possibilities, your own abilities. So much can change, but you have to make that switch to, okay, I'm going to ask myself. I have a client, and if she's watching this, she's going to be like, yep, hands up, she's talking about me. I have a client that doesn't like tapping into this subconscious, but that's perfectly normal. It's okay. But you're not going to know the answers if you don't ask. If you don't know the answers because you don't ask, you're never going to get out of your own way because you don't know what is getting in your damn way. Self-sabotage, getting to the root cause of it, uncovering it, shifting the shit, sorting through it, requires a little bit of self-love and time. You can't do this from a judgmental perspective. So always approach these questions and this scenario with love and curiosity, because you can't get anywhere with judgment. I always talk about this. I always say judgment never goes anywhere, but curiosity does. So start understanding that changing the self-sabotaging patterns is by changing your beliefs. Rather than not believing in yourself, think about, well, if I did believe in myself, what would the next action or thought be instead? So here's some examples of sabotage. Fear of success. For a lot of people, I'm scared of losing weight for some reason. Maybe it is how they would be perceived. Maybe it is fear of safety. If they suddenly believe that they're going to be looking hot, thin, maybe they're worried about what's going to happen, right? What if we are worried about the actual end result? Even though we want it, what if subconsciously we're worried about getting it? Here's a little bit of a balloon burster here, bubble burster. You do not know if your life will 100% be better without it, without this weight. You don't necessarily know what's going to happen in the future. So instead of sitting in fear of success, sit in that curiosity of, oh, well, what could possibly be the worst things? Here's all the bad things that will happen. I want you to list it out. List the reasons why life wouldn't be better. List the reasons why, list all the bad things that would happen, right? Maybe I won't love my body. Maybe I'll have loose skin. What if my body doesn't look the same? List the reasons why life won't be better. Then I want you to ask yourself, what if that's not true? What if that's not true? Self-sabotage will avoid the fear. You need to ask yourself, what if that is not true? Another option or another self-sabotaging thought or behavior is, I don't think this is possible. Now, we always go back to who we were, right? We will always go back to who we were. We will always think of the person that we were. We always think that we are that person. Create a conversation of why we are capable. Take the focus off of why we're not and think about why we are capable, right? Our brain will always spiral. We'll always drown out the people that have had success because we're not looking for that, right? Because we believe that this is not possible. So I want you to switch and say, right, okay, so how am I capable? Where is the evidence that I've done this before? Turn the attention to those who have had success and say, this would happen for me because, right? It's so much more of an empowering and positive place to be. Look to people who have had success and ask yourself, in the moment you feel fear or doubt, don't think about the fear. think about how you can succeed, how you can get through that. Because the more time and attention you spend on these negative thoughts, on these fears, the more time you're going to be creating, or you're going to have to create the evidence that these thoughts are true. So the more time you spend in the positive side of that, so for example, if you don't think that this is possible, the more time that you spend on the, well, what if this is possible, the more chances that you have are of succeeding. I'm really sorry. I am like totally brain dead today. So I sincerely apologize if you're watching this going, what the fuck are you talking about? Now, another possibility of self-sabotage is a lack of self-worth, right? What if I fail? What if I waste my money? Just don't believe, you possibly don't believe that anything is going to happen for you, right? You're not worthy of it. You probably won't, it probably won't work. You'll fail. You'll waste your money. Either way, right? Whatever your self-sabotage thoughts are, these are not productive thoughts. And again, you've just asked your brain to find the answers to something that isn't helping you at all. So dealing with self-sabotage is knowing mistakes are necessary and are the only way that we can make progress is to change our thinking, is to make mistakes, change our thinking around making mistakes. The more you fail, the more you know. The more you fail, the more you know doesn't work, and therefore we can whittle out what does work. So I want you to recognize self-sabotage, then give it a bit of space, take a step back and say, okay, what do I need to know about this? What's going on? Normalize self-sabotage, because it's totally normal for you to self-sabotage. It's totally normal for you to get in your own way. It's very, very common. It's okay because we have learned this behavior, but stop beating yourself up about it and just realize that it is perfectly normal. Now you have recognized it, you need to figure out what the best way of exiting that sabotage is. So if it's fear of failure, focus on what would happen if you did get the results that you wanted and all the positive things about that. Essentially, it's just flipping it around and asking yourself how it would be better, how it could be better. I hope this has made sense for you. I'm having one of those days where my brain isn't quite working at the speed of my mouth. So I'm going to send you a little gift right now. And what I want you to do is comment your self-sabotaging thoughts or behaviors in the comments below. Once you do that, I'm going to send you a couple of questions and a couple of little prompts for you to work through so you can start rewiring your brain and get out of your own way. Okay, so just comment your self-sabotage thoughts or behaviors underneath this video training here. Hopefully this stays up. I don't know, I've not used Facebook Lives. I hope it saves. Hopefully this stays up, and then you will be able to, I'll be able to give you a perfect guideline to work through so you can get out of your own way. Right, for goodness sake, I hope this works. Take care, folks, and I will see you next week.